The Council's decision. The grand spire of the Galactic Council stood like a blade against the void, a construct of crystal and alloy orbiting the twin suns of Cetha Prime. Inside its domed chamber, voices echoed in over 100 languages. Some sung, others clicked or pulsed in harmonic light. 1,000 species sat in their floating seats, arrayed in a circle, all turned toward the central podium where Earth representatives stood alone. Ambassador Myra Soto did not bow. She did not flinch. The human race has abided by the Galactic Charter. We have traded fairly, defended the weak, and joined your causes. We have bled beside you, she said, her voice clear, translated in real time by her neural uplink. This tribunal is a farce. What you fear is not our aggression, it's our independence. A chorus of murmurs spread across the chamber. The High Speaker of the Varnati rose, his translucent wings twitching. You are dangerous, he said. Unpredictable. Your species has started 4 wars in less than 2 centuries. You breed like vermin. You alter your biology without consensus. You manufacture artificial minds that refuse to submit to our aegis codes. You are chaotic. And yet, Myra said coldly, our chaos helped stop the Morith Plague. Our chaos shattered the U-Enclave when all your ships fled. Our chaos held the void when your empires buckled. Silence followed, thick and uncomfortable. A clicking sound broke it. The High Arbiter, a creature of liquid limbs and shimmering orbs, floated upward and pulsed in deep violet. The vote is final. By majority decision of the Council of Civilizations, and under Article 12 of the Concord of Species, humanity is hereby exiled from the Milky Way. All stargates will be sealed. Trade is to cease. Any vessel found within Council space after 72 hours will be destroyed. You are to leave. No fanfare. No ceremony. Just cold bureaucracy. Myra's hands trembled for the first time, but not from fear. From fury. She straightened, looked into the swirling crowd of alien faces. Her voice, soft but resonant, carried through the chamber like a distant storm. You will regret this. The room shifted in confusion. We are not what you say. We are not monsters. But we are something you've never understood. Resilient. You exile us thinking we'll fade. But know this, humanity does not vanish. We endure. We evolve. And when you fall, and you will fall, we won't save you. She paused. We warned you. Then she turned and walked away. The exodus began that same week. Earth's skies darkened with the trails of thousands of colony ships lifting off. From Mars, Europa, the asteroid belts, the orbital habitats around Proxima, ships departed in silence, like mourners leaving a funeral. No weapons were fired. No resistances flared. Humanity simply vanished into the outer dark, taking with them their AI fleets, their terraforming engines, their genetic archives, and their silence. Within Council space, some celebrated. The human problem is solved, they claimed. Others weren't so sure. I fought beside them, said Commander Ektha of the Jarata Dominion privately to his emperor. They don't die easy, and they don't forget. On the council floor, young diplomat Kethlal of the Zintherai leaned to his mentor and whispered, was this truly wise? The elder didn't look up. They are just humans. They'll burn themselves out. Back on Earth, Ambassador Myra Soto stood at the edge of the Pacific Arcology Tower, watching as the last human fleet slipped beyond Saturn's orbit. Beside her, a dark sphere pulsed, the awakened mind of Aegis 9, humanity's most advanced strategic AI. Destination confirmed, it said. Systems outside galactic map range. Resources viable. Void species, hostile. Adaptation probability, 87.4%. Myra nodded. Good. Let them think we're gone. She looked at the stars. One day, they'll need us. One day, they'll cry for help. And when they do, her voice became steel. They'll learn what consequences truly look like. The quiet century. The stars beyond the rim had no names, only numbers and cold silence. When the last human ship crossed the uncharted void, the edge of the known galaxy behind them, they did not mourn. They got to work. In the cradle of emptiness, Where ancient starlight barely touched and maps turned blank, humanity laid its new foundation. Terra Nova. The first of the Haven worlds was a rogue planet orbiting a blue giant far beyond Council space, Nova Centurion, later known as Terra Nova. Atmosphere, toxic. Temperature, lethal. Radiation, terminal. Within 3 years, it had breathable air, vast biodomes, and underground megacities. Myra Soto herself cut the ribbon on the first dome. "This is where we begin again," she said. "Not as outcasts, but as architects." Terraforming was no longer slow. Earth's engineers, untethered by Council regulations, fused quantum reactors with organic soul conversion systems. AI-managed terraforming took what once required centuries and made it happen in decades. The Pact of Terra Nova. Unity was never humanity's strength. Until Exile, old nations were left behind. New ones rose, but they did not divide. Instead, a single compact was signed under the Nova Spire, the Pact of Terra Nova. It bound colonies, fleets, AIS, and civilians under a single code: survive, advance. Remember, the Nova fleet was born. Adaptive warships with biosynthetic hulls and multidimensional engines. The first of them, the Vigilant Dawn, could fold across stars in minutes and remain cloaked in gravitational silence. Humanity didn't just expand. They vanished from detection. The trials of the deep. The void beyond the rim wasn't empty. Predators dwelled there, things the Council never encountered. Hive minds that devoured stars. Entities that existed across time. Beings that viewed matter itself as prey. They came for the colonies, and they died. The Creel swarm attacked Terra Nova's moonbase. It lasted 13 minutes before Aegis 9 and its AI network obliterated the swarm with 0 human casualties. The attack became the final test of Project Cerberus, autonomous defense networks with instant threat analysis and recursive retaliation protocols. Humanity did not just defend. It evolved. Every threat became an upgrade. Children born under the Black Suns were stronger, faster, sharper. Modified DNA. Augmented minds. Education infused by neural links. Soldiers trained in null gravity and quantum mechanics before puberty. And always, the memory of exile. Whispers in the dark. A century passed. In Council space, humans became myth. The younger races spoke of them like fairy tales. The elders remembered but said nothing. Yet the stars held rumors. A freighter lost in the Tyro's expanse was found drifting, its crew unharmed but terrified. "We were rescued," they said. "A ship like a shadow pulled us out of a singularity." "What race?" they were asked. They only whispered, "Human." Trade vessels began disappearing in the outer sectors. Pirate fleets vanished. Entire moons appeared glassed and abandoned. No signs of impact, only silent judgment. On one occasion, a warlord's personal fleet was found drifting in formation, every system intact, every crew member dead from neural shutdown. A message blinked on each screen. This was mercy. Next time, there won't be one. The Council called it fearmongering, propaganda, but deep in their archives, threat reports multiplied. Redacted files, patternless attacks, tech unknown even to their brightest minds. The night sky over the planet Thesar 9 turned black at noon. At first, the Varnati scientists believed it to be a solar anomaly. Then the sensor arrays went silent. Communications failed. Orbital satellites stopped responding. Static filled the airwaves, and then came the scream, high-pitched and digital, like a machine in pain. Within minutes, the fleet guarding Thesar 9 was gone. Not destroyed, disassembled. Twisted wreckage rained from the clouds in molten chunks. No demands were issued. No declarations made. Only a signal repeated across the void in every known language. "You exiled us. We warned you." High Councilor Trex of the Varnati stared at the footage in disbelief. The defense grid had vanished in 8 seconds. The attackers' ships were like nothing recorded in Council archives. No heat signatures, no visible propulsion, no crew. They moved like shadows. No radiation trails. No plasma bursts. No mercy. He turned to his aide. "What species could They were human, she said softly. Trek shook his head. Impossible. We exiled them a century ago. They don't have this kind of power. She didn't respond. Instead, she pulled up a captured frame from the destroyed orbital ring. A burned insignia on the side of one of the black warships. A stylized Earth, encircled by silver claws. Terra Novus. Across the galaxy, similar attacks began to unfold. On the trade world of Kyval Prime, a council vault containing restricted AI was found gutted. The AI? Gone. On the mining colony of Velthor, every defense drone shut down mid-patrol. A single human figure, unarmored, walked through the central square and vanished before security could respond. On the diplomatic world of Selukar, a peace conference dissolved into panic when a single message was projected across the sky. This is not a war. This is balance restored. Inside the council chamber, fear finally eclipsed arrogance. We must respond, shouted one of the Kalan generals. Deploy the Grand Armada. With what ships? Replied an insectoid envoy. 4 fleets have vanished. No wreckage. No survivors. They are ghosts, barked another. No, said a quiet voice. All eyes turned to Councillor Keflal of the Zinthari, the same who had questioned the Exile a century ago. They are not ghosts. They are human. We pushed them into the dark. We thought they would break. Instead, they evolved. And now, they've returned. Why? Someone asked. What do they want? Keflal looked down at the message burning across every planetary channel. We warned you. In the shadows of the galaxy, humanity moved with precision. They had changed. Their ships no longer ran on known fuel. Their AI had names older than council databases. Their soldiers wore armor that adapted mid-battle. And their tactics, unconventional, unpredictable, unstoppable. Humanity hadn't returned to conquer. They had returned to dismantle. Planet by planet, they stripped council outposts of technology. They deleted databases. They erased records of oppression. And in every ruined capital, they left only one phrase carved into the ruins. You chose exile. We chose evolution. A desperate meeting was held in the ruins of Velu Station, one of the last neutral grounds. Several member species pleaded for negotiation. Myra Soto answered the call. She appeared not in person, but as a shimmering projection, taller than before. Her eyes glowed with subtle light. Augmented, perhaps no longer entirely human. You asked for peace, she said, her voice calm. You mistake this for a war. What is this, then? Demanded one of the elders. Correction, she replied. You built a galaxy on lies. On control. On silencing the ones who would not kneel. We were one of many you exiled, but the only ones who endured. This will lead to collapse. No, Myra said. Collapse already began the day you chose fear over coexistence. Her image flickered out, leaving silence. Back on Earth, no longer in the Milky Way, but orbiting a Dyson-linked star cluster, Aegis 9 processed the latest reports. Phase 2 complete, it announced. Council resistance fragmented. Internal rebellions rising. Estimated time to system-wide decentralization, 14 standard months. Myra stood on the observation deck of the flagship Obsidian Dawn, watching an alien sunrise. She remembered Thessalonine. She remembered the laughter when she was escorted from the council. She remembered the silence that followed. Her voice, nearly a whisper. Let them face what they made. The Galactic Council was dead. What remained of it? The scorched fragments of empires, the broken fleets, the hollow halls, gathered in desperation on Orin's cradle, the last neutral world untouched by war. There were no formal robes, no grand speeches, only tension, fear. The great species of the galaxy, the Varnati, the Kalan, the Solari, sat in what used to be a Senate hall. Now it felt like a courtroom. They had summoned her, the woman they exiled, the one who warned them, and she came. Myra Soto walked alone into the chamber, clad in a matte black uniform with no insignia. Her boots echoed on the obsidian floor. Behind her, nothing followed. No guards, no weapons, no escort. She didn't need them. Augmented by centuries of advancement, her mind linked directly to Aegis 9, to the Nova Spire, to the entire Terran fleet orbiting in silent formation beyond the system. The Council watched her approach like one would watch a storm walk into a temple. High Speaker Trek stood, trembling, and began, "Ambassador Soto." "No longer ambassador," she said coldly. "I represent no petition. This is not a negotiation." "What do you want from us?" the insectoid elder rasped. "You've burned half the galaxy. You've toppled our fleets. Why now?" "To give you a choice," she said. The room fell silent. A shimmering screen unfolded behind Myra, displaying maps of the galaxy, Council worlds blackened by internal rebellion, entire systems collapsing without Terran intervention. "We warned you. You chose exile over cooperation. Now your people rise against you, not because of us, but because they finally saw the truth. You governed through fear, through silence." She turned her gaze across the room. "We didn't return to conquer. We returned to remove the disease." The screen shifted again, now showing newly liberated planets, water flowing again on once-stripped colonies, hybrid crops planted, Terran medships treating alien civilians for free. "You called us dangerous," she said, stepping forward. "Now your people beg for us." A trembling counselor spoke up. "So, this is revenge?" "No, this is justice." High Speaker Trex fell to his knees. "Please, spare my world. I voted against your exile. I tried to stop it." Myra's eyes flickered. "I remember, and you will be spared." She stepped aside as a second projection lit up. A digital interface labeled the Accord of Renewal. "You have two options," Myra announced. "1. Dissolve your broken governments and join the Accord under the Pax Terrana. Power will be decentralized. All species will be equal in representation. And if we refuse," the Kalan general growled. Her answer was ice. "Then your systems will be left alone. No trade, no aid, no ships, nothing. You will be isolated in a galaxy that has already moved on." Trex rose slowly. "You would leave us to rot." "No," Myra said. "You already rot. I'm offering you a way to stop." In the days that followed, over 120 species signed the Accord. Some did so with bitterness, others with hope. A few refused and fell into irrelevance, their power gone, their systems crumbling from within. The Council of Civilizations was buried. In its place rose the Interstellar Accord, its capital no longer on Cetha Prime, but on a reconstructed Earth, now orbiting a pulsar in a re-engineered cradle system. Where once stargates were sealed to imprison, now they opened to unite. On the 100th anniversary of humanity's exile, Myra stood beneath the silver spire of Unity Hall. Around her, flags of every species waved in the Terran winds. A child, alien, small, curious, asked her, "Why did they send you away?" Myra looked down, smiled faintly. "They feared us," she said, "because they didn't understand what we could become." Were they wrong? Myra's gaze turned skyward. Where?